Good afternoon, East Coast. Good morning, West Coast. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. It's Sunday. It's time to do more FPP because it seems like every quilting channel that I know is doing FPP right now. I was with Becca. I wasn't with her, but I was watching her live on Friday, and somebody in her comments in the chat mentioned that it seems like all of the YouTubers right now who are in quilting are doing FPP, and I have no idea why that is. We all just suddenly happened to jump onto the FPP train all at the same time, but it happens. It's a weird cycle that YouTube goes through. It seems like all of the crafters, I haven't noticed this just in quilting, I've noticed it everywhere, that it seems like all the crafters end up doing the same thing at the same time organically, which is very strange. Anyways, hope you're having a great Sunday. We got Tiffany here. She's taking a nap, but she's listening to my soothing voice. Hello, Tiffany. How are you? Let's do some ASMR. I'm talking to you very quietly because that's what ASMR is. I don't understand ASMR videos, but anyways, Mary Jane is here. She loves Tiffany's refurbished house, and yes, those updates that Tiffany and her husband did to their house are amazing. Brenda is here, Doreen is here, Irish Sail Lady is here, Katrina's here, Katie's here, Paula's here, Beverly's here, So Terry is here, Patricia is here. Hello everybody, thank you guys so much for joining me. We got 24 people here. Don't forget, if you're catching this on the replay, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell notification icon so that way you get updated every time I go live. And if you don't have your notifications turned on your mobile device, make sure to go turn those on so that way you actually do get the notifications, because I can actually see on the backside of YouTube, I can actually see how many people have the bell icon ringed but have their notifications turned off. So I can actually see that. It's interesting. Yo Patty G is here. What up, Yo Patty G? Mary Jane is here. Beverly's here. Roxanne's here. Rochelle is here. Rochelle with the 3 L's is here. I love that. That is such a unique story for you to tell. I love it. Anyways, Beverly is here. I think I said Beverly. Yes, I did. Katrina is here. Did I say Katrina? Yes, I did. I did say Katrina. She's here as hell. She's here as well. What a day. Goodness gracious. Oh, Katrina, why can't I say your name? Oh my God, am I having a stroke? Katrina Hughes. This morning was delivery day at church. Delivered a baby quilt and a comfort quilt for my daughter-in-law's grandmother. That's awesome. Maddie is here. Hello. Susan is here, but I like to hide. That's totally fine. I lurk in chats as well, so don't feel bad about lurking in my chat, because that is totally okay. I know. What is wrong, Katrina? I know, Katrina. I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop right now, because I don't know. If you don't know, I am dyslexic. I've said that a million times on my channel, but the weird thing about being dyslexic, sorry, my iPad died, so I can't see. It didn't die, but it stopped showing up on the screen. I put it up on my TV so I could see. Interesting thing about dyslexics, at least in my experience, my brain one day will take a word and it will not be able to say it or spell it or whatever. Like literally the day before I did just fine with it. And then suddenly my brain is like, nope, and it switches it off, and it's like, no, you don't get to say that word anymore. No, you don't know how to spell that word anymore. And I'm like, I literally just spelled it yesterday, and my brain's like, so bad, too bad. And then literally like a day or two later, it's fine again. I don't know why it does that. It's just weird. It is just so incredibly strange how dyslexia works. I have dyslexia, I have dysgraphia, I have it all. I have all the things. Katrina. See, I don't know. Anyways. Anywho. It's weird. It's very weird. Helen is here. Linda is here. So let's do the things. I've got some updates. I had to write them all down because there's so much going on right now. First thing, I am going to be, well, I'm not going to be, I have already entered the quilt you see behind me in the Sisters Oregon Outdoor Quilt Festival show thing. It has not been accepted yet. I just did it last night, so I don't know for sure that it's been accepted, but hopefully this quilt will be going out to Oregon. And if you're going to be going to the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show in Oregon, in Sisters, Oregon, keep an eye out for this because it might be there and I would love some pictures of it. This is going to be in July, so trust me, I will remind you plenty of times before then. If it gets accepted, it's still not accepted, so we don't know. But it's going to be going out there. Katrina, I wish I was. I am thinking about it. I set a price alert for flights last night. So if it ends up out there, I might be with it as well. We'll see. Haven't decided yet. Got to see what the budgetary restraints are. I also would really love to go see the Northern Lights as well. That's on the bucket list for me. So I'm kind of like weighing, do I want to make this trip or do I want to save for going to see the Northern Lights, or like, what do I want to do? Anyways, so possibly let's put a pin in that and we'll see what happens later this year. Their show happens in July 8th. It's a Saturday, July 8th. It is a possibility, but we'll see. So maybe. If you are here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or if you are planning to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for the Dallas Quilt Show, I will be displaying this quilt and then my other banana quilt, the 4-letter banana word that I cannot say on YouTube because I don't want to have my monetization taken away. It starts with the letter S, though. I think you can figure it out because it's the song that Gwen Stefani sings. It will be, this quilt and my mini quilt will be in the Dallas Quilt Show that happens in March. So if you're going to be there, keep an eye out for not only my quilts, but also me. I will be there probably on that Saturday of the quilt show. So keep an eye out for me. And if you're there, please say hello. Don't worry. I'll remind you in between now and then. That's a little over a month away, or a little less than a month away, excuse me. So we've got some time. I'll remind you again. But if you are at the Dallas Quilt Show, please say hi. I would love to say hello to you. So there's that. I've got some show and tell for you. Who wants to do show and tell? Me, I do. Let's do some show and tell, shall we? Yes, bananas. Bananas, bananas, bananas. All right, so I have my quilt back from my quilter. This is so sweet. This is the Puzzle Mystery Quilt from Cotton Cuts. I have received it back from my quilter, and I freaking love how what is happening here? I freaking love how it turned out. It came out beautifully. So this one literally has love written all over it. You can actually see here, it has love written all over it. This is the one that I spent time with Becca, and we worked on our So Sweet quilts together. And so I put mine together, and this is the quilting for it. And I absolutely love it. It came out so good. I'm going to try and get pictures of it today now that the quilting is all finished. But isn't it beautiful? I know that this is coming out like seafoam green on the camera, but it's actually a turquoise. I don't know why it looks that green on here, but it is so beautiful. And it is, so it kind of looks like a Baptist fan, but it's actually rainbows. So there are clouds in this design. We have clouds, we have rainbows, we have hearts, we have love. It really came out quite well, and I love it so much. So this one is going to hopefully get pictures done today, and then I am going to wash it today as well. So that's what that one is. It was a great time with Becca. It was 7 hours of amazingness. I love it. It was so much fun. I hope to do that again sometime in the future. Next, let's see. Thank you guys. Yep, it is. It is a lovely quilt. I love it a lot. All right, so then I also finished, this project has been haunting me for a while. I've had this one for a while, and it's so big that I'm gonna have to like show it in 2 parts here. We've got this part, and then we've got the teacup. So this one was just finished this past week. This is the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, and I'm going to put my face back on so that way you can see. It is the Mad Hatter's Tea Party quilt, and I made this quilt for my friend. They were getting married, and so and she loves Alice in Wonderland, so I bought the Mad Hatter's Tea Party quilt quilt kit, I should say, from Tula Pink. I purchased it, made the quilt, and there was enough fabric left over that I could actually make 2 blocks from it. So I did a teapot and then of course a teacup that worked together. And I kind of, since I gave away the quilt as a present, I wanted a trophy basically. And so this is my trophy from it. And so this is what I got. It is a wall hanging. I would show you the back, but it has my address on it, and I don't want to give that away. But it does, I can show this side, and we've got some beautiful flowers, and I made sewed little pockets on here so that way I could stick a dowel behind it, so that way it hangs up on the wall. I need to get a dowel, that will come later, but this is what it was. I love it. It came out so great, and I freaking love it. Thank you guys for all your compliments on both my quilts. I love this. I love that I got to keep a little part of that full quilt that I made, and that I get to kind of hold on to it and keep it. So that is that. All right, let's talk about what we're going to be doing today, shall we? We are going to be working some more on FPP. What is FPP? If you haven't kept up with my channel, Foundation Paper Piece is what it's called. And we're going to be doing some more of that today. So you've seen me do some trees. You've seen me do some trees. We did a moon. We did a small tree. We've done a whole bunch of different things. And now today we're going to be moving on to some stars. I am working on a quilt for this. If you go back and watch some of the other live videos, some of the other FPP live videos, you'll see that I have been working my way through different shapes because of an inspirational piece of a fox that I started off with and have now been moving on to doing some other things. Today we're going to be doing FPP stars. Now I have this pattern for you it's linked down in the description of this video. This is from Woolly Tails, I think it is, Woolly Petals. She has it in cursive and I'm dyslexic, so it's hard for me to read. But anyways, all of it is down in the description. You can purchase this FPP pattern from her website. She has a whole bunch of different stars in different sizes. They come in large 8-inch blocks with tiny stars, and then large 8-inch blocks with large stars. I've just kind of been working my way through some of them and just creating what I feel like. Today we're going to be making some smaller stars. So I'm going to be working with the 2-inch stars. And it's cool because her pattern has, oops, let's go this way, there we go. So this one is our 2-inch star block with a tiny star, and then a 2-inch block with a large star. So I'm going to be working with those today and creating those. I don't know how many I'm going to get through or how long we're going to be staying live. I'm just deciding to keep going until I decide to stop. But the first thing that we always have to do is cut out our FPP. Hello, Janine, welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and trim out the FPP parts that I'm going to need for today, and we'll go from there. And I have a selection of fabric that I'm going to be using today. I have, of course, my black fabric, which is my background fabric, and then I have my orangish yellow fabric, and then I have some blue fabric, because stars come in a full range of colors. When you go to look at in the sky, up in the sky at night, you'll notice that not all the stars are the same color. You know, when you think of a star, you think of white, but that is not always the case. Some stars register in our vision as kind of more blue. Sometimes they look red. Sometimes they look orange. They run the full spectrum almost of colors. And a lot of times the stars are twinkling as well because of the atmospheric disruptions. And so because of that, they can change colors. So for my quilt, I decided that I wanted to kind of go through colors, different colors of stars, because not all stars are white. So they can be a rainbow of colors. Teal Diana, I'm going to be 75 in June, hereby requesting You Are My Oldest Friend pot holders. I'll get right on that. I will get on that for sure. All right. There we go. All right, so this is the 2-inch. Hey, you never know. I might be up there. I might be up there. I'm just saying. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to trim that down as well. All right, so we have section A, we have section B, we have section C. I'm going to trim section C down a little bit. Whenever I'm paper piecing, it helps to just rough cut it a little bit so that way I know how much fabric I need. Like if I don't need all the fabric to go all the way to the edge, it is, let's go to this camera so I can say hello over there. So that way I can easily find out how much I need. All right, so one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to mark it with the colors. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to put the letter B on all my background squares, or not even squares, all the background areas. It's black. This is the center, so it's going to stay all the colors. So let's start off with section A. B, C, and D. Rochelle says, you inspired me. I'm actually working on my first FPP today. I almost got block 1 done. Thank you for the inspiration. And you are very welcome. I'm so glad to hear that. All right, we're gonna do, what are we gonna do? I think we're gonna do orangey yellow. I think that's what we're gonna do today. So I'm gonna try and iron that out a little bit. Now, here's an interesting thing. If I really wanted to, I could do this entire thing as one, because all 3 of these shapes are going to be the orangey yellow color. However, I am going to do it as it's directing because we want those lines, because all the stars, you know, when you draw a star, it has those lines in it. We're going to keep with that. And if I just did, how can I explain this? If I just did the other parts of the star, you would see those lines in the other part of the star, but not in the center, and it would look a little strange. So I'm going to keep with the pattern of doing that, and I'm going to go ahead and, hello, Melania. I'm going to go ahead and do that and keep with it. So this is the tiny FPP that you may or may not have done before. So I'm going to just stick that right there. That should be plenty of room there. Malene. All right, so there's our first one. We're going to take our card. I would bring out my, Becca sent me the Add a Quarter Plus, but it is a ginormous ruler. It is the 12-inch ruler. So I'm going to keep with the smaller ruler. I think that's going to work better. Ian, I'm making that quilt pattern hanging on your wall. I like it. How wide are your yellow strips? I don't remember. If you look up the salt lattice quilt pattern, let's see. I don't have it easily accessible. Do I? Do I have it easily accessible? Maybe. There it is. The pattern is called Salt Air Lattice Quilt. It is Mommy by Day, Crafting by Night is the official blog post. And I think they are 42 pre-cut strips that are 2.5 by 44 inches is what she used. So she's cut them 2.5 inches wide. Those are 2.5 inch wide strips. But go check out her instructions on how to put that together, it's very handy. And I actually think I cut mine, I think hers say to cut at like 15 inches, but I think you might need to cut a little bit more than that. All right, so there is that. I'm gonna put this on here. Do a quick little cut. Gotcha. All right, so there's our first one. We need to go to our second one. So we're going to put on our second one. And I'm working, this is very tiny, very, very tiny piecing here. So I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine. I haven't started my machine today, so you'll hear the Bernina burp. There it goes. I also am very excited because it literally just happened this morning, but there's been a conversation had between myself and a company owner, and I am very excited for what may be coming. So stay tuned, turn on your notifications. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with this. So all I can say is stay tuned. It's gonna be pretty awesome, I think. All right, so I'm gonna trim this down again. And there's a lot of extra fabric that I've got on this, and that's totally okay. But just know that there's gonna be a little bit of waste with these stars. They come in, like I said, a variety of sizes, and they are so perfect for this project. I'm super excited to see how it ends up all turning out when it's all said and done. So there's that. I'm going to trim right here. Throw that into my waste bin. I just bought this shirt yesterday at Target. What do y'all think? I love the color scheme. I almost want to make a quilt out of this color scheme. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, do we have enough here? I think we are going to be a-okay. It's going to be very close, but I think oh, I got to flip it over so that way it's right sides to right side. There we go. I was trying to put it wrong side to right side, and that won't work. What stitch length do you like to use? Doreen says. Doreen, I like to use a 1.5 inch stitch length for my paper piecing. Becca, I think on her live Friday, said that she drops hers down to like 1.2, I think she said. But I like to use 1.5. It still perforates the paper just the right amount, and it makes it easy to pull the paper out with no problem. All right, so it is the 19th. We have Piazza is coming out. Our clue number 8 is going to be coming out here at the end of the month. So we'll have clue number 8 ready to go. And then, of course, we're working on Village Green, which the next one of that one doesn't come out until the first Friday in March. I forgot what month it was for a second. All right, so now that I've gone around, I'm going to go ahead and trim out all of my sides. Trim this all down. How many of you are working on Piazza, and how many of you are working on Village Green, and are you doing both? Are you doing both of them? I forget sometimes which camera to look at. It's the bad part about having multiple cams is I forget which camera to look at. It's like a real TV studio or something. Not really, not even close, but one can dream, right? If I win the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs that I won the lottery. And you can be like, we know, Ian, we know. All right, so there is our first piece. It is tiny. Look how tiny that is. It's really, really tiny. So there's our first one. We're going to set it off to the side and start working on piece letter B. Goodness gracious. All right, we're going to start off with B. Our first one we're going to be doing is the background fabric. We start off with the background fabric on this one. So I'm just going to, it's literally so easy. All you have to do is just literally plop it onto the fabric. I use a little bit of glue on the back just to make sure that it sticks and stays in place. So there is our first one. Katrina says, Riley Blake Design Challenge, Socialites 2, and plans for a double wedding ring. That's awesome. Susan says, just ordered Village Green thanks to you. Awesome, thank you so much. I hope you used my affiliate code. If you didn't, you can always email them and be like, hey, I forgot to put that on there. Can you give Ian credit? And they will be happy to take the care of that for you. By the way, I don't get anything from, I don't get a monetary value from Cotton Cuts whenever you use my code. It is completely free for you to use. And what it does, it just lets them know who sent them to their website. We don't, the ambassadors like Becca and myself, we don't get paid for each individual purchase. It just lets them know who sent them over to their website and lets us continue to be ambassadors and all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much. I'm so glad that you joined in on Village Green. I'm loving my colorway so far. It is going to be such a fun Halloween quilt when it's all said and done. I can't wait to see what the final product is. And I forgot my camera's over here, not over there. It's fine. This is fine. You saw me looking in the wrong direction multiple times, but you know what? It's that day. I need another cup of coffee, apparently, is what it is. I need some more coffee. I need some more coffee. I need some Dutch Bros. That's what I need. I need some Dutch Bros coffee. All right, so I have done that. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my roller and roll out this seam. And that's all it takes for part 2. It is super short and easy to do section 2. I'm going to trim this off like so. I'm going to keep that because I just might need that for another one. I have been quilting up a storm this week, or last week I should say. I finished working on the binding for So Sweet. I got the binding put on, I got my quilt back, I put the binding on, and then I have been I worked on 4 quilt labels this weekend. I was able to attach 3 of them. One of them still needs its label, but I will work on that another day. But it has been I've been a busy bee this weekend trying to get everything put in its place. I almost ripped that whole thing. That was not good. I was like, what was that noise? Oh, you almost just ripped everything apart. Cool. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, so that's section B. Look how, easy, right? Easy, easy, easy. So we're going to set that off to the side. We're going to work on section C now. All right, we're going to start with our black fabric again. And this has more than enough room, so I'm going to do that one. Rochelle asked, do I have a deadline to get this quilt done? Kind of. I would like to put this quilt into the North Texas Quilt Festival coming up this August. So I kind of would like to have it a majority, like when you enter the quilt show, you don't have to have the final product done. Like the pictures that you send in don't have to be the final product, but I would like to have it as close to done as possible. So I'm going to try very hard to get this quilt done before August, when it needs to be entered into when it actually will be in the show, hopefully. So cross your fingers that I can get it done in time for that show. Patricia says, Village Green, I wish the clues were every few weeks. I know, it is so, That's the only thing that is not even frustrating. I just wish I could have the clues so much faster. But I will say, doing the videos and stuff, it sure is nice that I get a couple of weeks break in between each one, because I do get the clues a little ahead of everyone else, so that way I can get the videos out on time. And yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get everything done, not complaining about it, but it does take a little more time for me to do the clues, because I've got to record everything. And so honestly, I think it's a good thing that they don't come out every couple of weeks, because I would go a little bonkers. A little bonkers. All right, so there is that. Do that. And then we go back to our black fabric. I think I can use this one. Diane, the Sewing Adventure, is here. Hello, Diane. Welcome. Oh, excuse me, Diana. If I could read correctly. Diana's Sewing Adventure is here. Hello. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Whether you are just getting out from church, or if you've been just hanging out at home, or whatever you've been doing. D. Adams is joining late, but we'll catch the replay. Awesome. Thank you for joining today. Barbara Jean says, I wish they still had the quilt shows. Which ones are we missing? Does your location no longer do quilt shows? Hello from Germany. Excellent. I like your tutorials. Thank you so much. There we go. I'm gonna go to my black fabric now. And this piece looks like it is going to be plenty large enough. So I'm gonna use this. So anyways, I'm hoping to have this one done before the show in August. Cross your fingers that I can make it happen. I would really love for that. I'm also hoping to put the quilt that you see behind me into the State Fair of Texas. I'm looking to put this one into the State Fair of Texas because I would love to see if it would win a blue ribbon from the State Fair. I've always wanted to enter the State Fair. I just never have had the opportunity. A lot of times because I forget about it. And the deadlines are so much sooner than the actual fair itself. By the time the fair rolls around, I forget. And I'm like, oh, I've already missed the deadline again. Barbara says the ones at the rodeo. Oh, you're talking about the ones in South Texas. Got it. Lori says FOP seems to be exploding on the quilting channels. FPP, absolutely. I was just saying that earlier in the live, that it seems like, and this is a trend that happens in all of YouTube crafting. It seems like everybody kind of gets on the same kick at the same time. It happens organically most of the time. And it's just funny how we all kind of got into FPP kicks all at the same time. Becca was mentioning that Monique makes her boxes, Monique's of Open Gates Quilting, she makes her boxes months in advance. And just somehow she was able to predict that FPP was going to be a hot commodity. Oops, don't do that, Ian. Uh-oh. I think I made a boo-boo. I sure did make a boo-boo. I made a boo-boo. Instead of cutting on the... I cut the wrong line. Definitely just cut the wrong line. Oh well. Yes, your shirt colors would be pretty in a quilt. I agree. I think they would be pretty awesome. So basically what's happened is I've accidentally cut off my seam allowance is exactly what happened. So as you can see, I cut off my seam allowance. I should not, I was too busy chatting. So I've got to redo this block because I messed that up. But thankfully I printed off an extra one so that I could. Let me make sure I'm cutting out the right one. Section C, no, that's section A. Section C, there it is, okay. All right, I know which one I need to cut. That was a silly mistake. That's what happens when you're too chatty and not paying attention. So, we'll just do a quick little redo, no big deal. We'll do a quick little redo and try it again. Katrina says, I've done that before. Diana says, you better come to Oregon in June. When is the Texas State Fair? I could use some fair food. The State Fair of Texas is in September, October, around in that time. You should come to the State Fair. I would absolutely take you to the State Fair. I'm just saying. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Let's start off with C1. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention and I messed it up. But that is okay. See, definitely not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. If you're like, oh, all the YouTubers are perfect 100% of the time. We are not. Have you seen me fall out of a chair? Thankfully, I already had one printed off, so that way I could just go in and redo it. Rochelle says, I cut off one of my seam allowances earlier. Apparently, beginners aren't the only ones who mess up. Not in the least. Not at all. I definitely am guilty of making mistakes. It happens. It happens. Ooh, my iPad is getting low on battery. I need to plug it in here in a second. I use the iPad so that way I can track your comments. I have it up on my big TV as well, so that way I can see while I'm sewing and while I'm cutting. This is the best idea ever. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, but it actually makes things look like I'm looking at you a little better. So we're going to try that again. We're going to flip this out like so. And now we're going to go to our last piece on here. And I'm not going to cut the seam allowance this time. Now that I've done that, it's going to be very fresh in my mind. And I'm going to keep from doing that again. I know, Rochelle. Rochelle says, good thing you have 10 yards of that black Tula pink fabric. I know. It's not 10 yards anymore because I've been cutting it down and using it. So it's definitely not 10 yards anymore. But, so, you know, I'll be honest. The reason I bought 10 yards when I originally bought this fabric was I was worried that it was going to go out of stock. And so I wanted to have it and keep it so that way it would always, like, I wouldn't have to worry about trying to source it, right? Also, when you buy fabric, there are times that the fabric is, even though it's the same color, it can be 2 shades of a color. So I wanted a chunk of that fabric so that way it would be, in theory, the same color. So that's why I did it. And I'm glad I did. No regrets. No regrets at all. All right, so we're going to go back here. We're going to go back there, and here we go. And when I cut it this time, I'm not going to cut my seam allowance, because that's what's gonna happen next, is I'm gonna trim up, and I'm not gonna cut my seam allowance. I'm gonna remember that there needs to be a seam allowance. So I'm gonna make sure not to cut that seam allowance. All right, and if you are doing FPP and you don't have one of the Martelli cutting rotary cutters, do yourself a favor and buy one. It is the best. All right, so I'm gonna line this up on the edge, because this, I realized what my mistake was. I realized that because this one, the two patterns on the page were butt up against each other, I had to cut on that seam allowance, and that's why I ended up doing it by accident, is because it was already cut on the line and I just didn't see it. And I was like, there's no line there. Here's the line, let's cut there. Well, no, Ian, that was not a smart move. Rochelle says, I had a hard time finding my 7 yards. Yes, different dyes, dye lots could really cause issue, absolutely. So that's why I decided to just go ahead and do all of it at once, and I'm glad that I did. So glad that I did. Don't forget, I do have my commands turned on, so if you need an explanation of what commands do what, you can use !help to find out what all the commands are. There are fun commands, there are silly commands, there are helpful commands. So if you want to know what those are, they are active. All you have to do is command help. Diana, the end product is going to be beautiful and no one will ever know about the boo-boos along the way. You are so right. And there are plenty of boo-boos along the way, let me tell you. I have made some very silly boo-boos, but thankfully no one is going to see them when it's all said and done. That is too small. I can use this one. Put a little glue there. And we'll plop it right. Oop. Did you see what I just did? Did you see? Thankfully, I thought about it and stopped myself and went, oh yeah, it's got to be the other way. It's got to be the other way, Ian. You dodo brain. All right, so now we're going to move on to part 2. This is D. We're going to move on to D2. And that is going to be in our orange color. And it's this tiny, tiny little piece. So I'm going to put that right there. I can't wait to see the final product. I talked with my quilter. We had a quilt guild meeting on Thursday. And I talked with my quilter about this quilt. And she kind of gave me some pointers on what I need to do for spacing and all that kind of stuff. So I have some planning to do. I'm still in the process of I'm just kind of making things, and then I'm going to fit it all together when it's all said and done. So, but she gave me some pointers and some ideas for how to move forward. And when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be such a beautiful product. I can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait to be done, but it's a long way to go. That was so silly. I picked up the card just now, and I saw the image on the computer screen move, and I was like, what was that? Oh wait, it's me. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Oh boy. All right, we're gonna do our last bit here. How many of y'all are going to QuiltCon? I'm curious. Curious to know how many of you are going to be going to QuiltCon this year. I will not be at QuiltCon as much as I would love to. I will not be there. But how many of you will be there? I know Sobecca is going. I know that Mary is going. I know of several people going. I will hopefully be going to the Raleigh QuiltCon in 2024. It's my hope. I hope. There we go. We're going to do back. Becca said if you end up seeing her, make sure to say hello to her. She will want to say hello to you as well. So feel free to stop her in the aisle and be like, hi. And don't forget to tell her. That's the other thing about us YouTubers is sometimes we don't know who you are based on just your name alone. Sometimes you have to be like, I'm such and such on YouTube. And we're like, oh my gosh, hi. Like, possibly, if Patty came up to me from Yo Patty G, and she was like, hi, I'm Patty, I'd be like, hi, nice to meet you. It's good to meet you. And she's like, oh, I'm Yo Patty G. And I'd be like, Yo Patty G. That's how it works. That's how this works. Kind of quiet in the chat today. Am I still live? It makes me nervous when chat messages aren't coming in. I'm like, am I actually live? It looks like everything's good. I guess everybody's still sipping on their coffee. I know I need some more coffee. Hello, Carissa. Welcome to the FPP party. Rochelle says, after trying FPP earlier, I think I could digitize the sewing lines for my embroidery machine and do FPP in the hoop. Yes, you can. You can do that, and I have not done it, but you can do it. Katrina says, you're live, LOL, I'm pooped. No worries. Melania says, I am sewing. That is totally fair. We can all sew together. All right, so I've done all my pieces. So now I'm going to sew all of the pieces together. How does this fit? This fits here like this. I forget how the instructions tell you how to sew everything together. Thought I remembered, but I forgot. Okay, so this is C. That's okay. All right, now I remember. I remember how to do this, maybe. I thought I remembered how to do this. There we go. This is how we do it. I forgot for half a second how you put all these together, and then I remembered. So we do A to B, AB to D, and then that creates, nope, we go A to B, B to C, C to D. A, B, C, so we put all three of those together, and then we add D. That's how it works. Kathy says, hi Ian and everyone. I was quietly ordering my Martelli cutter on Amazon. Excellent, good choice. I highly recommend it. I used the Tula Pink one for a while, and then I tried the Martelli cutter at Becca's, and I love it. Sue Allen is here. Hello, everyone. Hi, Ian. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm in bed sick for the past few days. I'm so sorry. Hopefully getting better so I can get back into sewing. I hope you feel better. And Sue Allen is a channel member. Thank you so much, Sue Allen, for all of your support. Everybody give Sue Allen a round of applause. It is super helpful for, she helps support my channel, and that's super helpful to me, so thank you. Rochelle asks, is that an add a quarter ruler? Do they have a groove in them? Yes, this is an add a quarter ruler. Let me see if I can get on camera. And you can see right there on that edge, that is a lip. That lip allows me to hook it onto the seam on the inside and then cut on this edge right here. See, add a quarter rulers are amazing. Highly recommend them if you are going to be doing FPP. My only suggestion would be the add a quarter plus ruler because it has the built-in lip that you don't need the cardstock for. You can just use the edge of the ruler to do that. All right, so now I am going to go ahead and put my star together. Where's my pins? I don't usually like to do pins. Hi, Lady Fair, welcome. I don't usually like to do pins. This is the only time that I tend to work with the pins, is when I'm doing the lining up of the pieces. That goes there. Okay, so this is, okay, so I'm going through this hole. So I need to poke a hole right here. Yes, Rochelle, you do need. Trust me on that one. It is so incredibly helpful. And I'm going to try and line this up as best as I can. Oops, that's too high. Ooh, that's almost dead on. So I'm going to take that. Perfect. Mary Jane says, I don't like the lip on the add a quarter ruler plus. I can see how that would be, it's kind of those, it's personal preference really. I like having it on there, but I know other people who would not like that. So I completely understand if that is not your cup of tea. All right, I'm gonna hold this on here. I had to take the pin out so that I could put it onto the sewing machine. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and stitch in a couple, stitch backwards a couple, stitch forward again. It's stuck on my machine. There we go. All right, so I did the first one. I'm going to just peel it back and open it up like so. So there is our first one. We're now going to go ahead and put on our next one. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to grab my pin. I'm going to go through the corner there. Diana says, are your Tula rainbow scissors considered pink? I have been wanting some ever since you got yours. These, kind of. I mean, it's kind of pink. I think it's more like iridescent, maybe? I don't know. Rainbow. Oil slick is a lot of times how it's described, is the oil slick. My machine is that way as well, and I freaking love it. I love my machine so much. So now I'm going to match this up with its counterpart piece. When working with tiny pieces for FPP, it can get a little hard to hold all the pieces at the same time. That's not what I wanted. Oops, it's too high. There we go. All right, I know that was off camera, I apologize. It's hard to work with these tiny, tiny FPP pieces. There we go, I think it's like that. All right, so I'm gonna take this over to my machine. I'm actually going to put a clip into it. I'm going to take my pin out so that I can actually put it through the machine. The tinier your FPP is, sometimes the harder it is to do it. Because it can really take a lot to get all the pieces in just the right place when you're working with such tiny pieces. There we go. All right, I think we're good. Thankfully, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to somewhat look good. You can't have a weird octopus star that's going in 20 different directions. Terry asks, what brand of your add a quarter ruler? It's the CM Designs. If you type add a quarter ruler into Amazon, that's the one that shows up. All right, my star looks a little funky at this point. Looks like it's got some big old legs on it, but I think we... I'm sorry. I was scrolling through my FYP on TikTok, and there was this one. A creator had stitched an original video, and in the original video, the content creator was one of those like gurus, workout gurus, and she was like, speak and manifest into the water, into your water, what you want to achieve. And so the next stitch you see, she's holding up a Brita purifier and she has the lid open and she yells, "Big old titties!" and starts drinking. It's funny. It was funny. Anyways, Mary Jane says, I use the add an eighth ruler on tiny piecing. I haven't added eighth. We're going to keep going with the add a quarter at the moment, but I may switch. You're right. I have the added 8. Thank you for reminding me. I had that one. Duh. All right, we're going to go to the last one. Rochelle says, earlier you said you made some quilt labels. Do you use an embroidery machine for that? I'm really new to quilting and I'm planning on using an embroidery in my quilt projects as needed. For my quilt labels, I actually used infusible ink from Cricut to do this one. Let me cover up. I'm going to cover up the information. I used infusible inks on the polyester fabric to make my label, and then I used Steam-A-Seam to actually attach it. I'm gonna have to go back on this one. I'm not, because I'm not gonna wash it. I don't wash this quilt because it's just a wall hanging. But for quilts I wash, I go back and I do hand sewing to put, I know, I said a 4-letter word, hand sewing. I hand sew the edges down because the Steam-A-Seam works for the most part, but I find that the edges can pop up whenever it's in the wash. So I did the, that's what I did. So that's what that looks like. I have not done an embroidered quilt label yet. That is on the list of things for me to do. All right, we're going to put our last piece in place. Come here. And I'm doing a whole bunch of different sizes of stars because I want the stars are not all the same size in the nighttime sky. So I want to give a variety of stars. There we go, right there. I want to give a variety of stars, and so I use different ones, different sized stars. You're very welcome, Rochelle. Put the clip on there. Just kind of futz with it a little bit. And now I'm going to take this, oops, why did I take the clip off? I didn't want to take the clip off, I wanted to take the pin off. There we go. Hello, Shirley, welcome. Glad to see you. So I'm going to drop my pin, or not my pin, I'm going to drop the needle into the spot there. I'm going to go do a couple of back stitches and then go forward again. Guys, I'm so excited for this year. There's so much going on that I cannot wait to tell you about or to show you. And there are going to be some things that magically just appear on social media and you're going to be like, well, that's interesting. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right, so there is our little star. It is a little off. Do I want to go back and fix it? I don't know, to be honest. That seems pretty far off. So this is what it looks like right now. Do you see how kind of off the left side of the star is? I feel like I want to go back and redo that. So I'm going to grab my seam ripper and I'm going to seam rip that really quick because it seems like it is way, way further off than what I would like. I can handle a little off, but this is like really far off. So I'm going to go back and redo that one real quick, if that is okay with you. Because I would like it to be a little closer than that. That seemed excessive. Seemed a little excessive. I'm all for imperfections, but that one was a little too much for me. What size needle do you use for FPP? I use the standard, what is it, 70-80? I have a whole box, I'm not even kidding you. I have a whole box of needles. I think this is an 80. Yeah, 80. I literally have a whole box of these needles. And they are the 80. Focus. There you go. I buy a lot of needles because I literally, this box has lasted me a couple of years and it's not even close to being empty. I change my needle very frequently. Basically with every new project, I change my needle. And so I wanted to have lots of them on hand. And so I went with the box of needles and it was a great investment. It is expensive, but it is a great investment, at least for me it was. Mary Jane says it helps to put your pin in where the star seams meet. Yep, that is a good tip, and I think I will go for that. I was trying to do the tip of the star when I was doing this one, but I think you are absolutely right, and I'm going to go for where the star pieces are meeting up at this time. Come on. You can do it. There we go. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Where's my pen? There it is. Oops. All right, so I'm gonna put this back into where I want it to go. So I'm gonna futz with this a little bit. I think I'm actually just gonna go right there. It's a cute little star. Seam rippers seem like a must. You are absolutely right. All FPP projects that I've worked on, it's really best to have a seam ripper on hand because you are going to need it. As much as I hate that, it is a must. It still seems a little bit low. It helps to put your, yeah. Sorry, I read that one already. I don't know what I'm reading anymore. All right, that looks good right there. I'm gonna go with this. We're gonna go with this. All right, let's do it. Let's sew the seam. And we're gonna try it to do it correctly this time. There we go. All right. Do this. We're gonna put a couple of stitches down. And then we're gonna keep sewing. There we go. All right, let's see if this works. Huzzah, it did. Here is my little star. Say hello to my little friend. So it's got a little bit of the leftover stitching in there. I'm gonna pull that out or cut it out. I think I need to cut this out because it's, there you go. So there we go, there's our little friend. There's a little friend, a little star, a little tiny star. All right, so we've done one. Let's do another one, shall we? Was that the little star or the big star? That was the bigger star. So let's go to the little star. Let's go to the little, wait, did I cut the right one? I don't know, I don't even know if I cut the right one, to be honest. I think so. I think so. All right, let's move on to our even tinier star. Shall we do an even tinier star? I think we should. I think we should do an even tinier star. This one is going to be very, very, very tiny. It is a 2-inch block that makes an even tinier star than what I just showed you, even tinier than this. So let's see what happens. Isn't that little star cute? It's such a tiny little star. But I will switch to my add an 1/8 ruler instead of my add a 1/4 ruler. A, B, C, D, okay. So I'm gonna get up really quick and grab my add an 1/8 ruler. Da, 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 da. Because I think that will help with some of the bulk. So you can always tell the difference between the add a whatever rulers, because the add a 1/4 ruler is yellow or pink, and then you have your add an 1/8 ruler, which is the green. And this one actually has the lip on it, so I don't need the card in this one. You use it upside down like this. I know it's gonna be really tiny, isn't it? So you flip it over. So whenever you're cutting the seam, you cut it on this side, but if you're folding, you put it face side of the ruler down to do that part. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna grab my piece. This is all I need, I think, for it. We're gonna find out. If I need to cut off some more, I will. This is gonna be so tiny, so tiny. I'm gonna put just like the smallest dot of glue on there. And like, look how tiny this is. This is so tiny. It's tiny. I don't know if this is gonna work out, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. It's an experiment. So I have my add a quarter. Here is my part 2. I'm gonna fold. I'm gonna trim. I'm gonna use that for my next. Did I go through the paper? I sure did. I went right through that piece of paper somehow. Put a little piece of tape on it. I somehow cut the paper. Goodness gracious, look at that. Going into the realm, my craft room, and log in there. Sounds good. See you in a bit. So now I'm going to take my next piece. Tiny, tiny piecing. Tiny, tiny FPP. Like this is the smallest I've ever done. So this is an experiment, folks. That's what's happening here. This is an experiment. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go back. And I'm gonna trim. That's all that is, like little, ow. Ow, that hurt. All right, so there is our, the heck just happened? Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened. It's fine. We can fix this. We can fix it. It's easy to fix. I was like, why didn't this attach? Because I forgot. I forgot a couple things. It's fine. What I did is I didn't do it right. Gloria, welcome. No worries. You're watching me do an epic fail. You're watching me epically fail on here while I'm trying to do FPP. This is fine. It is all fine. So I put that on there like that. And I go zoink like that. Totally didn't do it right. I don't know what I was thinking. But it's fine. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna try it again. I'm sure you can fix it. Yep, I can. I just have to think with a correct brain, which apparently is not working very well right now. It's fine. We're gonna try this again, shall we? When you get down to like this tiny, it gets really hard real fast. All right. Let's try it again, shall we? Good afternoon, Jamie. Welcome to the epic fail that is currently happening right now. It's all good. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Tiny, tiny, tiny. There we go. All right, so now I need to do one more, and I'm just literally going to trim this right there. So I'm going to fold this part back. I know that this is like at the very top of your screen, and I apologize. to tape this paper again because it's so tiny that it's falling apart. Like I've gone through it twice and it's just so tiny that it's falling apart. There we go. All right, so there we go. So now, again, I'm gonna crease this like so. Now I'm gonna go and flip my ruler over. I'm gonna do my add an eighth. Trim that. Hello, Judy. Jamie is also here. Hello, good afternoon to you as well. You are joining the Epic Fail Ian show today, apparently. Because Ian is trying to do very, 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 very tiny FPP, and it is not working for him. And apparently I'm deciding to talk in the third person now. Apparently is what is happening. Oops, too far down. Dropped the needle too far down so that I couldn't get the piece of paper underneath of it. There we go. Whose idea was it to do this tiny of paper piecing? It was mine. It was my idea. Susie says, wow, just got here. What are you making? What and why are you making such tiny stars? I'm making it for the quilt that I have been working on the past couple of weeks, and I thought it would be a great idea to do some like itty bitty bitty FPP. It is turning out to be not a great idea, but we are going to persevere and continue through it. I'm determined now to get it done. I've got to cut some blue fabric. I've got to find the blue fabric here in a minute. Love the comedy. Well, welcome to the comedy hour with Ian, because that is what is happening. That is exactly what's happening. Cut all this off. I really wanted to incorporate some like tiny stars into my design, and that's why I'm doing the like itty bitty 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 stars. I'm actually just gonna do this with scissors really quick because it's so tiny. I can literally just go boop boop. There we go, boop boop. Go. Sue Allen says, must have been yours, Ian. You'll get it done. I will get it done. Maybe applique would work better. Probably would. But I am determined to get this done now because I can do it. I do have to get some more of my blue fabric really quickly, so I'm going to grab my scissors and run off screen for a moment and cry. Just kidding. I am gonna cut some more of that blue fabric off. I just need a tiny bit of it. I don't even need all that much because the rest of these are not, the rest of the pieces are not going to use very big pieces of it at all. It is so tiny, so incredibly tiny. And I thought it would be a great idea. Oh, my iPad died. It did not die, but it went to sleep. I know, my Apple TV is yelling at me and saying, you... Come on. Would you go back on the TV, please? There we go. Oh, no, don't do that. There we go. All right. Get her done. I agree. Mama Harden says, do you think that a pair of surgical clamps, maybe, that might work? I just thought it'd be a great idea to do tiny FPP on my channel. That was a great idea, right? Like real smart, Ian. It's fine. perfectly fine. All right. Crystal says, hi Ian, looks fun. I'm busy with my 15 needle embroidery machine today. Can I come play with your 15 needle embroidery machine? Ding! That sounds awesome, by the way. I love doing embroidery. I just hate that I only have one needle, and so it can take forever. That sounds like kind of an awesome machine you got there. Kind of an awesome machine. All right, so now I'm going to put that on there. This one went a lot better and a lot easier. Ian, if you don't do it, who will? Good question. Good question. All right, so now we're going to go boop, 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 boop. You got to do it with the sound effects too. Boop, 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 boop. Crystal says, of course, I'm not far from Becca. Oh, really? I may have to keep that in mind. Next time I'm up in her area, might be like, hey, Crystal, what you doing? Can I come work on your machine? What type of machine is it, if you don't mind me asking? Is it the Brother? I know, I wish I had one too, Gloria. Be freaking fun. That's what it would be. Okay. Thought for a moment that I didn't cut on the right line again, but I did. I cut it on the correct line. Is everybody like biting their nails right now? Being like, is Ian going to do it? The answer is, I don't know. We're going to throw that into our trash bin because we are not, that one did not come out right and will not come out right. So we are just going to toss it. I got Rihanna's song stuck in my head today. Come on, rude boy, 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 boy. Come on, rude boy, boy, boy. Let's see, I didn't even watch the Super Bowl. I literally just caught the halftime show after on YouTube. That's all I did. Blue Sky Industrial, steep learning curve. Uh-oh. Good to know. Although I had to teach myself on my Bernina how to do the embroidery because that was right when the pandemic started and they did do virtual classes, but they were still trying to like figure it out. And so I ended up having to teach myself how to use my embroidery unit on this machine. All right, so there's our next piece. Lori asks, will this be a quilt or wall hanging? It is going to be a wall hanging quilt. It is going to be a quilt, but it is only going to be like the quilt behind me. It is only going to be for display purposes. It will not be used as a quilt. It'll be on display. I know, so tiny. It is very, very tiny. I thought it would be a good idea. I was wrong. I think after I finish this, if I finish it, this is going to be all we do today. Thinking that's what's going to happen. Gloria says mine does a few embroidery things, just not as much. It's a Brother. That's cool. Flip it over. I forget you have to use the front side of the ruler down when you're actually doing the, when you're folding the paper. It works a whole lot better that way, but I just forget about it whenever you have to like flip it over to do the cutting part, and then you have to, yeah, anyways, you flip it around a lot. A lot. Look how tiny, I don't even know if you can see this on camera, but like, look how tiny that one little spot right there. That's the blue right there. Okay, so now I need to trim. That is more than enough to cover this up. Come over to the sewing machine. I'm gonna drop our needle a little bit so that way I can fit the thing underneath. Like literally, this is gonna need like 2 or 3. Oh, there we go. Katrina says, Ian, do you remember the old sewing marking wheels with the spikes? I saw someone using that to do FPP. It made the paper easier to fold and tear off. I have seen them do that. I have never tried it, but I can definitely see how that would work well for that. I prefer this way. This is just the way I prefer, but I always invite people to do whatever works best for them. I do remember those marking wheels though. Mom had some of those and she used them on a couple of things. I don't think I have a big enough black piece, so I'm going to go onto the fabric and cut off another piece. I don't need to be fancy with that because it's tiny. Put that there. Oops, almost did this backwards. I just remembered to do it the right way, so I'm flipping it right side to right side. There we go. Almost did it the wrong way, but that's okay. Figured it out before it actually happened. This is gonna be like the tiniest little star ever. Well, it's trying to get sunny out there today. No, it still says it's gonna be cloudy all day, but I see the sun trying to poke out a little bit. It's always funny because I have my window, ever since I started going live on Sundays, I'll leave my window shades open. And I always wonder when people walk by if they're like, what are they doing in there? What's happening? With Becca, she has those ginormous windows in front of her house, but they have a lot of trees and stuff, so people can't really see from the road what's going on. And I always wonder if people, because there's a path right outside my patio, and I always wonder if people are like, what's he doing in there? Because they can see the ring lights as I'm working, so I always wonder. Yo buddy G, she says, I think you're doing a great job at FPP. It takes a lot of perseverance and a sharp seam ripper. You got this. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm hoping it's gonna come out great. We're gonna see. We're gonna see when it's all said and done. Oh boy. So I do not have Monday off, but how many of you have Monday off, and what are you going to be doing on your day off? I wish I did have the day off, but that is not one of our, sorry, my mustache is itchy today for some reason. That is not one of our designated holidays. So what are you going to be doing? All right, so there's our next, look how tiny, 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 tiny. A, B, C in section D. Katrina says, I have every day off, pay off for 30 plus years in the classroom. Thank you for being a teacher. I highly support teachers. I was technically a teacher for a long time. I was an informal education teacher for a long time. So I know the struggles that you went through, because I haven't exactly been there, but boy, howdy, have I been there. Judy says, I am off sewing my scraps. That's awesome. I need to do that. I have some scraps sitting off camera that I need to work on. Mama Harden says, I have 4 tracing wheels. One is a treadle machine. I use it a lot with my machine. That's cool. Mary Flowers says, we're getting really warm weather Monday and Tuesday, so planting seeds. Is it that time already? Is it that time to start planting? Goodness gracious. Susie K says, I have the whole week off. Well, actually the week after and after. Excellent. And Kathy says, when I was in ninth grade home ec, I refused to use that spiky wheel. It would ruin my pattern. I was already drafting my own patterns at that age. My mom had to call the teacher. That's funny. That's funny. My school was phasing out home ec when I was in school, so I never got that opportunity. How do I want to do this? I think I want to do it like this. Oops, almost wrong side. Yeah, they were just phasing out home ec. In fact, they put plywood in front of the ovens so people couldn't get in. In fact, they put it around the whole room so you couldn't get into the cabinets, you couldn't get into the sinks, you couldn't get into just about anything. And then they shut down home ec. Lori says, gotta go, gotta walk the pup. Have a good afternoon. Thanks for stopping by. Extra fabric over there. And actually I can cut over here too. All right, we're gonna put in our, I need to do the fold because I haven't folded this part yet. So I'm gonna fold back right there. Need to do the cut. Do the little cut right there. And we're gonna put our tiny, tiny, tiny little blue piece of fabric right there. Donna is here, hello. Donna says, hey Ian, just lurking my friend, welcome. So glad you are lurking in my chat today. I watched your explanation video on, what was that, Friday night for the next one y'all are doing, the tiger, I think it is. That looks awesome, and I can't wait to see how it ends up coming out for everyone. Looks like it's gonna be a really cool one. The elephant has been amazing, and, oh, don't do that. Face is too far away. There we go. Gloria says, matching wallet. Oh, cool. Donna kicked off another one of her amazing paper piecing jungle animals, you should go check out her channel if you want to sew along with them. They're going to be doing some really fun stuff over on her channel. I don't think I'm going to join y'all for this one. I might consider joining y'all in the future. I got a couple of I'm trying to push some projects out and get them finished before I jump into tackling some more projects. And I also have a couple of things in the works right now as well. Super excited. Jamie says, when I was in school in the late 50s, boys were not allowed to take home ec. That's very interesting. It's interesting how times have changed. And I feel like for the better, somewhat. There we go. Of course. Oh, you missed making a new purse with a matching wallet. Excellent, cool. Sounds good, Donna. I'll take a look at it later today. Yesterday, Crystal says, yesterday I found a pattern that I drafted in high school. Paper bags were used and there were tracing wheel holes in it. I used to make dresses for me and a tie for Dad. That's very cool. I used to make my stuffed animals pillows. That's what I did a lot of times. All right, we are almost done with this one. We now need to just put all the pieces together. So this was piece D. So now I'm going to trim all the edges. And I am trimming on the correct seam allowance line this time, I promise. Kathy says, why do I still have that tracing wheel 50 years later? Should I let it go? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if you are still using it, maybe not. How does this go? How does this go? I've now moved on to trying to figure out how to put all this together. Okay, then I have this one wrong. That's what's happening. I was like, why is this not matching up? And it's because I didn't have it correct. Okay, so we're going to match these two up and put them together somehow. This is going to be interesting. Why did I want to do this? I do not know. I think I'm going to keep my stars much larger from this point forward. All right, there's that one. Crystal says, I keep finding them, so many, and now they're vintage. Mom even had the tracing paper, like the carbon tracing paper. She had that as well. All right, so I'm going to go over to my sewing machine. Oh, I hope these stay in place. This is not easy. Okay. I got my needle through them. Now I'm just going to sew, maybe. I hope this works the way I want it to. I don't know, we're gonna see. Crystal says, need paper? I've got a bunch. I do not. I do not, because I don't plan on doing that. Mama Harden says, as Tiff says, because you can. Very true. All right, so I've got my first pieces together. We go on to piece C now. I'm going to fold these open. I think I'm going to keep them open. Seam allowances are going to be open as I am working on them. Pressed open, I mean. Oh, this is wrong. Why is this not? Wait, hold on. What's happening? Yeah, okay, there we go. That's the right way. I was losing it. My head was kind of spinning there for a second as I was trying to figure out how to do it. That part, nope, that doesn't match there. Hold on, I can do this. I can do this. It's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Oh, this is tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Just joining in. Hi, howdy from Admire, Kansas. Hello. Katrina says, I let my mom's and my tracing wheels go when we cleaned out to move to Florida. That makes sense. Gosh, when I move again, I'm gonna have so much to get rid of. So much. Guys, I'm gonna tell you, even if this isn't like 100% exact, I am not redoing this. This star is just gonna be a little wonky. That's what's gonna happen. Katrina says, my big project in home ec was making a leisure suit for my family. What was I thinking? I feel that. I feel that. Sometimes you bite off projects bigger than you intend. You bite off more than you can chew. Like today. That's me. I bit off way more than I can chew with this little itty bitty star, but it's fine. This is going to be a little bit of a wonky star. It's going to be a little wonky. Because I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But it's going to be wonky and we're going to love it. We're going to love it and it'll be with us forever and ever. Amen. Nope, that's not it. It's gonna be twinkling. That's what we're gonna call it. It's gonna be twinkling, right? Like that's what we're gonna say it is. That star is twinkling, and that's how it is. I'm not redoing this. Not doing it. Not gonna redo it. It is what it is. open up some of these seam allowances. I've got a cluster of fabric that I'm trying to feed into the machine all at once, and my machine's gonna be like, what are you doing to me? Sue Allen says, off to bed. You can do this, my friend. Thank you so much. 100 proof quilter finally made it to a live. Yay! Welcome. Oh my goodness. What in the world is this? Okay. I did something wrong somewhere. This is not... This is not okay. This is not okay. It is tiny. Yep, it is tiny for sure. All right, is everybody ready for the big reveal? I don't know what I just made, to be honest. There we go. That's what I made right there. That's what I made. That's what I made. Yeah. That needs some help. That needs some help. Yeah, that's not a star. That's not a star. Katrina says that's a baby star. Is it though? I don't think so. I don't think that is a baby star. I think that's an Ian mess up, is what that is. All right, I'm gonna have to figure out what I did wrong. What is it exactly? Exactly. That is not a star. That is a... I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. So we won't be entering that one. This one, itty bitty teeny weeny FPP. Yep, it's a bird's. And just think of it as a far away star. I like your thinking. It won't be going into the quilt though. It is just, that is, yeah. Yeah. It's a twinkle. You're right. It is a twinkle. We will not be entering that one. So I'm going to figure out what I did wrong off camera on that. But we did at least make one successful star. We made one successful star right there. Come on, focus. 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 Anyways, we made one successful star. Call it a UFO. It definitely is a UFO. It is definitely an unidentified object. And if I'm lucky, the US will not shut it down. Oh boy. Okay. I think it is time for us to maybe say good day for the day. Because I don't know what I did wrong on that one, but that is not even close to remotely being right. I'll have to dissect it and figure out where, because I can see the pieces, and so I can see I can see where it's going, but I think it is it needs some help. I need to dissect that and figure out what I did wrong. So I think we're going to end it there for today and call it a day, because my mind is a little frazzled at this point, and I would rather walk away now before I start getting really frustrated with myself and start getting into trouble even more. So I think we're gonna pause it for today and try and tackle it another day. Gloria says, thank you, Ian. It has been fun. Thank you for joining me. Susie says, practice, Ian. I made a skirt without a pattern in home ec, and the waistband came apart from the skirt. Oh, goodness. Hopefully not while you were wearing it. That would be not a good thing. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and stop there today. I hope everybody has a great Sunday, a great rest of your Sunday. We're going to start off the week powerful and large and in charge. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I felt like giving an inspirational moment for everyone for this week. I hope everybody has a great week. Don't forget, I don't know what I'm doing next week. I don't know if I'm having a live next week. I got to look at the calendar and figure out what I'm doing. Oops. And then once ow, ooh, ow, I just ran over my toe. It's fine. It's fine. All of this is fine. Oh, and it's not going back onto my screen. Whatever, it's fine. We're jumping off of here anyways. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Don't know what I'm doing next Sunday. Keep a lookout on my channel for if I'm going to be doing a live next week, and if I am, what am I doing? And don't forget about the quilt shows that I've entered, and don't forget to enter your quilts into a quilt show. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you. Don't forget to enter your quilts into quilt shows across the country and get those ribbons. QuiltCon next weekend. Maybe I should do like a QuiltCon pity party. Since I won't be at QuiltCon, I should do that. Maybe. I don't know. I hope everybody has a great day. And remember, guys, normal is just a setting on the dryer. I will see you all next time. Where's my thing? I will see you all next time. Have a good week, everybody.